Everyone, it's Krista here to do the monthly extended forecast for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. This is for the month of July 2018. I was on a tiny little vacation there, so forgive me for uploading a teeny bit late this month. I hope this finds everyone well. This is a general reading for your sign, so whatever is most prominent in your life when you are viewing this is what I encourage you to apply it to, and I hope that you find it helpful and healing. So we're going to be doing a 6-card spread today, and then I will draw an oracle card from the 2 oracle decks here as well. So what does Leo need to know for the month of July? What does Leo need to know? Leo need to know for the month of July. What does Leo need to know for the month of July? I'm just waiting for that little tingling or that weird sensation that I get in my arms or hands. So I'm just going to keep concentrating here. If you don't enjoy the shuffling, feel free to scroll ahead to when you see the images of the cards about to be laid there. We had a 4 of Cups jump out. We'll see if that shows back up in your reading. What does Leo need to know for the month of July? There we go. I also want to mention that there are 6 planets in retrograde from now until I guess the end of August, and I'm going to put a link in the description box for you to learn more about that in detail at a website that I have found to be very, very helpful. So if you find that things are a little bit weird for you lately, or you feel like you're out of sorts and you can't make heads or tails out of it, or someone in your environment, give that website a check out and see if it helps explain things energetically for you. So let's get your cards out. The underlying energy, of course, I pulled from the bottom of the deck for you, is the World. What a beautiful card for you. This is not only perspective, but this is a real opportunity for you to gain higher ground intellectually, spiritually. This is really a great personal development card. So let's get the rest of your cards laid out. I'll give a quick snapshot of all of the cards together, as I normally do, and then we'll get into what each card in its respective position means for you. So just with a general snapshot here, you have 2 6s, which is lovely. We're looking at issues of balance. We're looking at issues of, especially for this one here, for victory, moving away from issues and problems. So beautiful to see these energies here for you. Of course, the 7, this is actually a past energy. This is the past energy position here. So we can almost pretend that it precedes the first card. But interestingly enough, you've gone from a sense of victory here to a sense of, holding your ground, standing up for yourself here. So I feel very strongly here, Leo, that no matter what this applies to, this, a sense of victory, and then, doubling up on that, standing your ground after that certain victory. Again, no matter what this refers to, as it's a general reading for you, I feel like this is going to develop your confidence. This is going to develop your vision for yourself, your work, your dreams, your goals, your relationships. Again, whatever it applies to, but I do see you expanding on that sense of victory here and developing that, and then even like standing up for it, okay? It might even, in many cases, like this is just the nature of the beast. Once we find something that works for us, or once we have found us a victory for ourselves, or we've come out on top, or we're more confident or safe or happy with ourselves or with whatever it is, it's almost like that's when you're going to get some pushback, right? So I think that's all it is here. I think no matter what this is applying to, you're just going to get a little bit of pushback, but you're in a really confident position here to do that. So If that occurs, just consider it part and parcel of having won something or having been victorious at something. Really, because that means that someone else lost something, or someone else, didn't succeed the way you did. So, I mean, that's kind of part and parcel of that. Just generally here, again, with another snapshot view of what's going on, you do have 3 out of the 6 of the cards that are major arcana energy. We have Judgment, the Lovers, and the World card here. Again, we're dealing with, coming out of something. This is really the Judgment card for me, is in many ways a type of phoenix energy. It's different than death, okay? So death, I wouldn't say has a phoenix energy to it necessarily. Death is the ending of something, the beginning of something else. But this is almost like a second chance. So you may understand yourself or a situation or someone else better this month, and be able to make a discerning decision around that, or have another chance to work with new information or a new position that you have found yourself in order to complete something, or to try something again so that it works in your favor, is really what I'm trying to say around this card here. And then, of course, the Lovers. Really, I just realized this is the 6 as well. So you do have 3 6s here. Whenever we have 3 6s together, I just want to make a mention here as well when we're dealing with numerology. No, I don't think it has anything to do with Satan. I do think, however, that there could be an issue of imbalance. There could be something that's being avoided here, a decision that's being avoided, especially following the Judgment card. It could be something that you just don't want to face, you just don't want to see, you just don't want to revisit. But I think that if you do, especially if it is a decision you have to make with somebody else or about somebody else here, I think that clear sailing will follow. Okay, so that's a little snapshot. Let's get into what each card means in their position. As I mentioned, the World is the underlying energy for you for the month. This is just beautiful energy for you, like I said. This is perspective. This is really, and especially because we know that a victory card precedes it, this is past energy. This is the heart of the reading. I think you're just really being protective about what, and even defending, not necessarily defensive in a bad way, but like defending a decision or a circumstance or a position that you find yourself in, something you've done or said or exhibited here. This is something that everyone can sort of see. This is lasting behavior. Anytime we're dealing with wands, this is behavior. So I think it's, for an underlying energy, I think that you could just very easily become more and more confident about who you are, the decisions you're making, what you're choosing to focus on, what you're choosing to let go, what you're choosing perhaps here, especially with Judgment, in a present energy. I think there is going to be an opportunity, as I said, Leo, for you to, with this perspective, for example, to choose something better for yourself. And it could just be very well, especially with Wands energy here. This is your element, the fire. You're a fire sign. It could just be self-respect. It could be something as simple and straightforward as you are just, generally speaking, more confident, more in love with yourself, which is, believe me, I don't mean in an ego, from the ego lens. I mean self-love from a healing perspective, from a sense of, it's weird, right? People say, if you just, in order to heal the world, you have to heal yourself first. This is true. But it's almost like there's this element of, if you focus on yourself too much, you're being selfish. But I think it depends under which lens you're doing it. And I think here you've been doing it in order to explore, to expand, with perhaps even a long range view on healing others and helping others, and becoming victorious to get yourself out of difficult situations or troublesome communication or relationships, or even thought patterns and belief and behavior, for example, that drives us to do things that aren't healthy for us or aren't healthy for the relationships that we're in. And it could just be old patterns, for example, but these are two extraordinary energy cards with regard to shifting, okay? There's something definitively shifting here, and I think you are going to know exactly what that is. So perspective here, the world is your oyster is another way to frame this as well. It's similar to the Magician in the sense that it is, the Magician is saying you have all the tools that you need. You really don't need to wait, even if things look imperfect. I think the world is saying for you, there's much more to this or to an outcome or to a theme than you might have given credit to or might have imagined. So I think it's a nice opportunity for you this month, if you can, Leo, to maybe let your imagination run a little wild, maybe feel really a lot more confident about yourself and your decisions because of the heart of the reading here. I think this is a beautiful position to be in. I really do. Again, this is being on higher ground, defending a situation or an environment or a decision or behavior. I don't think that it is in any way detrimental to someone else. If this were, for example, trying to think of what, even the seven of swords, for example, the seven of air would be like, it's tricky, right? That's tricky energy, but this is really solid energy. And again, it's your element, it's fire. So this is really personally strong. I think, as I said, this precedes this energy. So you've risen, you've gone from a 6 to a 7. Again, we're going to imagine this at the beginning because it's past energy. So you've gone from 6 to a shift in perspective to, I feel really great and I'm not going to make any apologies for it. So as I said, the 6 precedes the 7, right? That's just that's just numbers. But you're going up the scale. So, what follows 7 is the 8 of Wands, which is progressive energy. It's actionable energy. It's exciting. It's even like sexual. There's a lot of potent, life-affirming energy behind the 8 of fire. So, and you can only go up from here as well, especially because you have 2 major arcana following it following these energies, for example. So there's a lot of, maybe big decisions or, life decisions or directional decisions that you need to make here. It could very well have to do with a decision that you're making within a relationship with someone else. So maybe you're trying to defend your position within a relationship as well. And it's not necessarily confrontational. And because this is a balance card, anytime we're dealing with 6s, we're dealing with balance. I think that the desire for you, Leo, and perhaps your partner equally, is best outcomes for both people, best outcomes for the health of the relationship. So I think this is a really beautiful position to be in, frankly. I don't see at all that this is negative at all. I think it's just about, communicating desires and needs and wants, and even like future goals, like relationship goals for yourself and the other person. You will probably get your own way if it is in alignment with, balance and best outcomes for both individuals here. I think that they have your best interests at heart as well. Again, I do want to make mention with the 3 6s here that there currently may be the feeling of an imbalance, or there currently may be some sort of energy around that, like something needs to be corrected or rebalanced here. But I do see that working out for you very beautifully by the end of the month here. In the present position energy, we have Judgment. As I mentioned, we have the Call energy here. The original artwork, as you know, for the Rider-Waite Tarot artwork is what looks like like a resurrection. It's a lot of angels in the sky. There's a lot of people coming out of the ground or out of even like tombs and graves and stuff like that. And they're sort of, they're given a second chance. So I think if obviously this has to do with higher energy as well, higher vibrational energy. So I would really keep your vibration high this month. I think that even you could even be in tune to messages. I would consider keeping yourself open to messages that are meant for you as well this month. A nice way to do that, in my experience, is to say, what do I need to know? You can just simply say, what do I need to know, in an earnest and meaningful way. You know, when you wake up, when you go to bed, if you think of it through the day, as long as it's sincere. And it's remarkable what information will come your way, and you really don't have to go looking for it. So just throwing that out there as well. If you feel like you could use more information, or if you feel like if you only knew this, or you would make a move, but you're just waiting on blah, 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 keep your mind and your heart open to information that is available to you and that can really assist you at this time. If that's not your cup of tea, obviously, Leo, don't do that. Only do anything you're comfortable with. It's just something that I have had personal experience with that I found very, very helpful. Here in your future position, as I mentioned, is the Lover's card. There is, of course, if you recall, in the traditional Rider-Waite, if you're familiar with that, there's a big angel in the sky here, and then there's two individuals. There's two pillars in the original artwork as well. Again, there's a decision in order for you and the other person, or the theme or concept or goal, whatever it is, that you love, that you feel like makes your heart beat faster, or gives you, that feels like life to you. I just see sincerely the decision needs to be made around that. But there is something that feels like a higher power. It feels like something's blessed, right? Neither of you are taking this for granted, no matter what the outcome is. The experience is not being taken for granted. You are providing this, you're standing your ground in the relationship, and the other person, again, no matter if it's business, personal, and anything in between, they're providing something within the confines of this relationship or dialogue or experience as well that I'm not sure about that other person, but that you are definitely going to be able to develop from. So another element here is to maybe stay a little bit humble to that as well. Don't assume, try to stay humble. And I do think that they have your best interest. I think as long as you have their best interests at heart, I think that they will have your best interests at heart as well. And then, of course, with this glorious Six of Swords at the end, this is really literally sailing away from troubled waters. This is taking all the lessons that you've learned, taking all the themes, the developments, what you have chosen, what you've had a second glance at, what you've chosen to take with you and leave behind, is in that boat with you. You're taking those lessons with you. Those swords, remember, are thoughts and ideas and belief systems. You're taking those with you, but you're taking them to a calmer place. You're taking them to a new experience. So don't discount any experiences through this, especially if this is a personal, professional, or relationship development. I don't think that you need to throw the baby out with the bathwater by any means. But I definitely see a beautiful outcome for you, at least by the end of the month here for you, Leo. Oops, that's too many. So I'm just going to get any additional messages for Leo for the month of July from our medicine cards, and I'll do the same from the romance angels. Ooh. Oh, look at that guy. Little mouse, which is scrutiny. Scrutiny, I mean, it can be read, again, it's dependent on the individual watching. If you find, for example, Leo, that you have been, scrutinizing something too closely or paying too much attention to one, let's say there's a lot of things going on. There's 6 or 7 elements at work here, but you're paying attention to, or you're being made to, or the conversation is confined to, etc. 1 or 2 elements of a very large picture. One of 2 things could be the advice here. It could be keep doing that, until you get to the bottom of it. Okay? Like, keep the whole picture, keep the large view picture in mind, but really dedicate yourself to solving or to paying attention to one or two things very, very closely. If you feel like that would be detrimental to your outcome, the other theme behind scrutiny is to drop that for the time being and then in favor of the large view. So in other words, if you feel like it would be beneficial to keep scrutinizing something up close, and you think that would be beneficial to you and the outcome to do that, go ahead and do that. However, I do think the advice here, anytime I see scrutiny, is that there could be over attention being paid to something that doesn't need to be paid to. There could be a clinging. There could be an assumption. No, look at that. Let go of control issues. There could be a demand, right? You're not willing to move past something, or you're dealing with an energy where they're not willing to move past something. It could be somewhat tied to here, this somewhat defensive energy. It doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. You have every right to defend yourself. But if the goal is balance and harmony, right? What's the long-term goal here, and then why are you doing what you're doing, I guess would be another way to frame that. So scrutiny is another message for you, and then let go of control issues. Seeking balance, I honest to God really believe strongly right now, is a very big theme in your July reading, Leo. Let go of control issues. Allow the situation to unfold naturally. So an element of control over another, over an outcome, or over a process, procedure, or even someone else's thoughts or behavior is detrimental, no matter who you are or what situation it is. Even if it looks like on the surface it's best for everybody, I think it's a really nice time for you to consult with someone else over a major theme, particularly if it has to do within a close relationship. So Leo, that is your reading for the month. Nothing extraordinarily overwhelming, nothing negative, nothing really like upsetting here. It's just like, I think you really need to get to the heart of the matter here about something, maybe give something perspective, personal development. If you're spiritually minded, this could have to do with your own spiritual development and really not much to do with relationships at all. Unless you choose to apply that to relationships. It could just very well be about, if it is about a spiritual development, for example, it's just about, let yourself be guided. So much emphasis on searching and seeking and learning and, becoming. And those expectations and assumptions and resistance shows in those environments as well. So again, with the balance, you can seek, but remember to receive. You can stand your ground, but remember that harmony is the desired outcome. So keep balance this month for yourself. Enjoy this beautiful summer month if you are in North America. And I really appreciate your encouragement to do this work, and of course your likes and shares and subscriptions. So thanks so much for that. I will see you again in a couple of weeks. Until then, take excellent care. Bye for now.